We lost you.
He'll come back.
Yeah.
There we go. We're live. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Drinks and Dogs. I believe this is episode 13. Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. I have none other than Mike Nezbeth from Canada and Grassroots, and my brother from Allegiance Canine in Memphis, which are actually in a seminar right now, the Art of War Working Dog Weekend, Jacque. So thanks, guys. Let's start off with our normal cheers. Cheers. Hey. So normally when we start off Drinks and Dogs, I always like to kind of ask everybody what they've been up to, and I've been with Jacque for the whole day. So Nezbeth, what's been going on, man? How's everything been going on? I think we've done Drinks and Dogs in about a month, right?
Yeah. It's been a while. Things are good, man. We're just working dogs out here. We got a Fright and Bite Halloween event that we're doing, so we're preparing for that. Getting things together. It's going to be just a bunch of like surprise scenarios pretty much for all the handlers. People come out, have some fun with their dogs. So we're trying to get everything in lined up for that. But other than that, man, just regular working, keep my head down.
Awesome, man. And for that Fright and Bite thing, is it for all levels? Or is it like dogs on suits or?
Yeah, so we're going to have like 3 different categories. There'll be a level 1, which will just be for sleeve dogs. And it's going to be like entry level, nothing too over the top. Level 2 will be the same thing, but for suit dogs. And then level 3 is where we'll get some crazy stuff going on.
Really nice. Is this all going to take place at the ranch?
Yep. It'll be out at the farm property. It'll be nice and cool weather for the dogs to work in.
Are the borders open yet? Because I need to make a trip.
Hey, to fly, they're open, but you got to quarantine for 14 days, so it might as well be closed.
Oh yeah, so that ain't gonna work. I know John Katz stayed. I guess went over the Thakachins, Sean Thakachin, the PSA decoy, and I guess his parents. He trialed one of his dogs, but he had to stay there for like 2 weeks before the trial. And quarantine. And I saw a post about it. I was like, God damn, man, that's fucking dedication for a ring one.
Yeah, that's a bit much. There's other things to be done in that time, so it can add up. 2 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, I would go crazy or develop a very serious, like some form of problem or habit.
No drinks and dogs during that time because you might start.
Oh, it'd be drinks and dogs every day. But like, Kitty, let's get on tonight. All right, Jacque, tell us what's been going on with you, sir.
All right, same stuff, different day. Main thing we've been doing is adjusting to the influx of clientele that we've had. I think that COVID has given me a gift, and that's been consistent. Influxes of clientele, we increased by like 40%. So we're just trying to kind of keep that balance and keep things going, and then also incorporate the working dog aspect, which is getting bigger and bigger in this area. We are in Memphis, so you have a dog or a gun pretty much here. So therefore, we're kind of going both ways. I love my dogs, I love my guns, and our clients are the same way.
I would have to say this is very similar to like a Texas atmosphere.
In what sense?
In the sense dogs are guns, but you just don't have lions.
Lions?
You don't have lions?
No, we don't have lions. No.
Or tigers.
Tigers.
You don't have the tigers over here. I mean, but everyone has guns.
Everyone has guns.
And everyone's dogs bite. Have you?
No, they think that they bite.
Yeah, this is true. What about you, Nezbeth? Have you guys seen an influx over there with COVID?
Yeah, we've been swamped, like just with like board and trains, even our online training program, like same thing. At first, there was a little, like when COVID first hit and everyone was in a panic, slowed down for like a week or two, and people were kind of trying to make decisions on what they were going to do. And then right after that, it's just been like go mode. So same thing up here. We're just trying to keep the momentum and make sure, we don't overbook, so we can give the dogs like all the, the proper quality stuff that in time they need. But yeah, we're staying super, super busy, man.
I think that's one of like the crazier parts about like this, 2020 was that initially we all thought like, oh shit, man, like this is gonna be, and like this is why like I feel like I kind of kicked myself in the ass with this one. I literally I was like, cool, let me launch like all this other stuff, PCU, our online stuff, and everything going like in that first like month of like panic where we didn't know what was gonna go on, and then all of a sudden, fucking record-breaking months right after that. I was like, Jesus Christ. even like coming up to here, I mean, just the scheduling alone, just going back home, leaving before then, it was just like nuts. It's been a blessing and a curse at the same time almost. Especially like obviously like you have kids too, so like lucky like your kids like live with you. Like my daughter like lives with my ex-wife, and she's not so fun sometimes. So I don't necessarily get to see my child as much as I'd like to, especially with my work schedule. But it's just been like, dude, where the fuck is like the time? But blessing and a curse at the same time there.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. It's keeping things. It's also balance, man. Because on us, on our end, like we're literally like just a crazy influx, and we want to help everyone that we can help, and get the sales that we can get, but we got to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze too. Like if we're just overcommitting, no one wins. We lose, we get burnt out. The dogs lose, they don't get as good of a quality work. So we're still like kind of capped at what we've capped pre-COVID, but it's just now we're just booked out like way longer.
And you guys sell a lot of law enforcement too.
Yeah, so like that end actually has been a bit of a headache with kind of importing dogs, but luckily, like because that's not all we do. The pet dog stuff is kind of dealt with that for us for right now at least. We still had a couple of dogs. We have some puppies that are at like the 8-month-old range, so like they're gonna kind of age into where we can start selling them again. But there's big demand up here for dogs. Hard time getting dogs in, just with all the border closures, and I don't like buying dogs like sight unseen either, as I'm sure you guys both know how those can go. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're holding off until I can go get hands on some dogs and see them and test them myself and then buy them. But yeah, other than that, we're staying pretty busy. Even with the law enforcement stuff, we got like seminars and courses that we're running. So I have a course like the next 2 weeks with a local agency out here, decoy course. So we're staying busy, just not with selling the dogs per se. We're kind of sold out of dogs right now.
So what's going on with you and your dogs over here? Because you have that security company too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more so we have been sourcing through the company that they go to school with.
Okay.
But now the goal is to start sourcing our own dogs. And then being able to get them certified through a different individual, which makes it easier for us. And then we can also safeguard and make sure that the dogs that we get are the ones that we need.
Nice. And then for those who don't know, Jacque and Allegiance, they have a security company, and it's Armed Guard, Armed Guard and Canine. So it's Armed Guard and Canine. It's a private security thing, and I know a lot when all like the riots are happening, you guys were contacted to do a lot of security too, right?
Yeah, to go up to Colorado, and then now we're doing just more stuff with hospitals here.
You guys seen a lot of action with that?
Not as much. Like since the dog presence was added, it's been I won't say flatline, but it's been like 90% less.
It's funny how like dogs can completely change an environment really quickly.
It's the thing, like people aren't afraid of guns anymore. But a dog, if they hear the dog bark, they go in that way instead.
Well, people have like a natural, like primitive response to like an animal showing aggression towards you. Like it's just just in the bottom of their stomach. For most people, there's obviously like those 1%ers out there that don't feel that way, but huge deterrent.
I think it's the unknown. Like you don't know what they're gonna do, and you can't control it. So therefore, like that's what they respond to. It's the unknown almost.
Yeah.
It's like I always feel like if you're like a decoy, like having that chance of possibly running a cop dog is like one of those things you're like, all right, I think I could do it. Like they're just like, I think I got it. That's cool. I think I'm trying to figure something out, but that's only stuff like weird people like us think. Like there's just no, because you can't tell me like at any point in time, like if there's a cop dog, if you're caught in that scenario, you're like, I think I can do this. There has to be something I can do at this point. Yeah, although none of my dogs, I feel like all my dogs would be like, nah, Mike's the bitch. I'm just gonna take his ass out. So they just like all my dogs that give that any chance that dogs I work, they're like, nope, I got you, bitch. We're done.
Like, I got you, man.
Dude. All right, so pop-up question: hardest biting dog you have, Nezbeth? And actually, do you prefer harder biting dogs, or do you prefer harder biting dogs with proper counters and everything like that, or do you prefer dogs with a little bit lighter? Because I've talked to some other decoys, and a lot of other decoys I've talked to have been saying like, oh, hey, like they just prefer the dogs who bite kind of hard, but enough to work. Where a lot, like for me, I prefer dogs who just want to pretty much eat your soul and bite through you and just work through it. What's your preference?
Yeah, like I like, you know, the whole package. Obviously, you know, I want a dog to bite with everything that it has, every inch of its weight behind I want in that bite. But I also am like a stickler for like the mechanics behind the biting as well. You know, I don't mind the thrashing so much. Some people are super like against that thrash. I'm okay with the thrash as long as it's like a forward, like a counter shake. Like I'm all for that. I don't just need them to be like, you know, just punching and staying, you know, no thrashing. I don't really care about that. My hardest, I don't really have many dogs right now. Like my hardest biting dog that I have would probably be my female diva. But that's pretty much all I have. I have puppies other than her right now, so that doesn't. Yeah.
Is that the same diva that's from Hans?
No, this diva is from somewhere.
I love the secrecy of it.
No, literally
Somewhere.
She has no pedigrees. Like she's from somewhere. It's not something cool. Like she's not like you know, top secret. You can't know about it.
Because that's how you phrase it. Like it's from somewhere.
No,
all
they're
we need is key is Jacques.
Like pause in between.
All we need is Jacques Bond villain laugh right after, and then it would be like perfect.
Dramatic. Cue the dramatic music.
Somewhere. See?
I'm trying not to, because you said it. I'm trying not to now.
It's all right. There's only like 600 people listening to this. It's completely fine.
That's all.
All right. So obviously we all have variety of different training ideals and everything like that. Let's see. What is I mean, during COVID, I tried to focus on a lot of different things just to improve like my just different skills because we were trapped in the house, especially in California, and it came from, all right, you guys are locked up to, okay, go ahead, do whatever you want, back to locked up. And now it's like, okay, do whatever you want. But I mean, for me, I focused a lot on, I don't want to say it's competition obedience, but just a little more flashy OB, because that's something wasn't something I didn't really care for in the since I was in IPO or Schutzen when it was. But was there anything in particular that you kind of refocused yourselves on during that time?
I mean, I was just adding additional education because I had more time to do that. It wasn't me running 16-hour days at the time. So it's just more adding additional education. And then too, when it comes to like client dogs, it was just more scenarios. Things were closed down. So we were using areas that we didn't normally use. So scenarios, and then like using that to create like mental aspects to counter, to dig, to do this, to that. How do I win in these scenarios? So that's the big thing for me. Getting outside of the building, going different places, and then, you know, using those scenarios to then push the dog environmentally.
Yeah, I think something similar to me. I was like tried to spend a lot more time kind of putting together a curriculum for, you know, some courses, some of like the seminars and courses and stuff that we'll eventually be doing. Now that things are starting to open up a little bit more, we're getting to do them. I really wanted to not just be able to, you know, train the dogs, but also help people learn like more effectively and efficiently how to train the dogs, and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing or why I took this approach, and really put some actual thought and time into that aspect of it, and not just like the working of the dog.
That brings up a good point. So like obviously like this weekend I'm teaching a decoy seminar with Jacque and Charlie Randolph, who's probably still working dogs in there, or just completely just talking. So he's just in there. But I mean, like, what you feel like when you do like a decoy seminar? Because I have like this inner battle between talking, going through mechanics, movements, method and theory, all this other stuff, and then getting the guys to work, like, and doing that. So like for me, I have this like inner struggle, like, because I want to break down why you're doing this. This is how you do it. Break down the steps, break down the movements, do all the stuff that, you know, you got to do, and then like because you know, like most people who come into for a decoy seminar, they want to get in the bite suit, they want to get bites, they want to do this stuff, they want to feel that, you know, feeling. And I feel a lot of times that kind of takes over the aspect of like learning what to do. So it's that balance instead of it. So like this seminar is going to be a little bit rough for me because Jacque purposely scheduled because I was injured for me not to be in the bite suit all day. So he's like, all right, you're going to teach this and you're going to work for like an hour, then you're done for the day. And then you're just going to teach the rest and watch and critique and the rest. I was like, you know, this can drive me completely insane, but I understand it because it's like, I talked to, remember like Jake Scott too. And like, he's like one of the best seminars. I never got in the bite suit. I just learned from the decoy doing what I was doing. What is your thoughts on that? Because you do a lot of those too with the triple threat.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a balance between the two. Like generally the type of person that you're going to get that actually wants to decoy or wants to learn how to decoy is like that type A kind of getting like knuckle dragger, want to do it to learn, like actually experience things to learn. So I think if like the lecture part of your presentation or seminar is just too much and it's too long, like you're going to lose people. Right. They're just, even if you're giving them like gems and all the information that they need, if it's so much time spent on lecture, you're going to lose those type A kind of personalities. And that's what the biggest, like, that's who makes a good decoy. Right. So like how, and I've messed around with like structure of doing them, you know, but what I think a lot of times is like, hey, drop a little bit of lecture here. Let's get the suits on and work some dogs. Then let's drop we'll recap, kind of drop another little bit of lecture, and like really break it up like that. Let people get that, you know, experience dealing with specifically what we're talking about in that lecture part. You know, lecture maybe for an hour, work dogs for 2 hours. Lecture for an hour, work dogs for 2 hours, and really hone in and you know, if we're focusing on, you know, reinforcing and kind of marking the behaviors that we want, then that's the only thing that decoy is focused on for those 2 hours, or those decoys are focused on, and really breaking it up in sections like that. Because I've tried to, you know, hey, I'm going to run through this whole slideshow in front of you guys for hours, and then we're going to put the suits on. And, you know, after an hour, you just, they're there, but they're not there. You know, everyone's head, people are yawning and they're just itching to get the suits on. So that, from my experience, that's kind of so far what, and you know, you ask me in 3 months, maybe it'll change again, but that's what I do right now.
I think like for me, I think what works best is like, I literally, I mean, cause obviously I'm very like concise, like very simple minded. I say like, kind of like you mentioned, like I'm essentially the knuckle dragger. That's very much his caveman approach to everything. So it's just like when I talk, I'm like, okay, like this is where we do break down the theory. All right, let's go through movements without the dog, and then have them go through the movements and we break it down. I kind of break it down like when I used to take jiu-jitsu or like, you know, any like in my combat sports, I break it down just like that. I'll show them the example. We do it that way, and that's worked pretty much for me the best way, because I'm not as analytical when it comes to that. And you know, Jacque, you've had me here for I don't know what 3 or 4 times now. Yeah, four time now. Like I've done 2 only seminars, and like what's been your experience with that?
I mean, the big thing is just it has to be a balance. The idea of getting the methodology down, and even like with both of y'all having online platforms, it may even be good to like before you come to a decoy camp, watch this, and this, which covers half of what you're gonna cover anyway. And then when they get there, you can actually use the application because they've already done. We're seeing the methodology part. Yep. So I think that kind of works best because they need that. I need that still. Yep. And then from that point, you can then apply it based on what you've already researched and studied.
Yeah.
That's a lot of my my seminar in October that I'm doing. It's been sold out, but like that's a lot of the people who are supposed to go to that. They've been buying, like, I think they bought like a couple of my decoys. Like they pretty much bought all of our decoy stuff on there. And then they watched it. So like I'm looking forward to see what that comes from, because that's 12 dogs. 12 decoys coming in because we overbooked it, and they've all pretty much purchased all of our decoy stuff on PC Online.
Yeah.
So it'll be pretty cool to, because I'm actually gonna put a slide. I'm gonna actually do it like, you know, fancy like how you guys do it, and put a little slideshow together, put it on a television. I'm not just gonna stand there and just like do this. This is easy.
What they've taken all those PCU courses that you should just start telling, all right, you come up and explain this part. You just get to sit back. And they already took the courses. They should be good. That's how you do it.
Dude, that's how it should be.
One thing with
for everyone, everyone watching this, Mike Nezbeth, myself, Jacque will have some stuff on there soon. But PCU Online is a huge resource for decoys and pet owners, dog trainers. That's still available. All the courses we have on there. I don't even know how many we have on now. Nezbeth, how many have you done so far?
I think 2 so far. I'm working on my 3rd one now.
You have 3. I think I've done. I don't know how many I've done. I'm pretty sure we have close to like 25 live videos that you can look up, watch, purchase, and have them forever. And I'm sure everyone who's watching this knows, the stuff that Nezbeth drops is all obviously gems and all that stuff. And then the rest of the crew in general is pretty awesome. We have a pretty dope team. Can't wait for the PCU meetup because that's gonna be pretty epic.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that too. I'm waiting for that.
We're just gonna have to move to Florida for like a couple weeks.
That's
That's apparently the lawless country, and then KD can hang out with us and force us to sit around a fire. I'm pretty sure he's watching this.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so let's get into some questions here. I gotta move through this. Let's see. Minimize. John Abrams, what is he saying here? Okay, here's a question for me. Mike, when you're training, I noticed you have a yellow glove on your hand. What type of is it, and what do you wear it for? Dog slime. So it's not yellow, it's green, neon green, and it's grip right nitro gloves. And the reason why I wear that glove is because it's fancy. But the reason why I started wearing gloves is because we at one point we had a big ranch or our kennel, and a lot of dogs we got were had food allergies, and I noticed that if I was continuously dipping it into the same pocket, whatever it may be, and using my hands, they can be you can transfer those allergies depending on which food you're using. So for example, we had a dog who was on this I don't even know what the actual term of it's hydro. What was the one that Petey was on?
Oh, the hydrogenized food.
Hydrogenized food.
Allergy detector.
Allergy detector, completely flat. But if I put let's say origin beef or salmon or whatever it was inside my pouch, and I would use that, or even my hands, he would have an allergic reaction. And this is years back. I just started wearing gloves to make sure that I wasn't cross-contaminating. I'll switch out every single time, switch my pouches out, and do whatever I had to do. And then I just got used to not having my hands smell like dog food. So I like that.
I was waiting for you to get to that part, to just be like, I just don't like my hand with dog slobber and smelling like salmon. That's what
I was just dude, I was all right, cool. I'm good with my hands not smelling like dog shit all the time. So I'm good with this. And then I was like, hey, there's flashy gloves. I can buy different color gloves. Other than the black ones and the little blue ones I was having. All right, cool. There's purple, there's green, there's orange. I was like, this is cool. And there's ones that have little ribbed ones. So I was like, this is even better. Now I just buy fancy plastic gloves just because I don't like my hands smelling like dog stuff.
So be on the lookout for the PCU dog training gloves coming soon.
Right. We're gonna have to just white label some nitro gloves and be PCU gloves.
There you go.
Used by PCU instructors throughout the world. Because technically you're in a different country. So and Nino's in Belgium. So technically we're throughout the world.
All over the world.
A question that because you've been participating in the PCU stuff. So have you noticed a benefit in just watching those courses or anything like that?
I have, because you can get tunnel vision with your perspective. And that's giving me different perspectives from Mike's, Nezbeth, to yours, to KD, and just being able to glean from them. And in some ways I'm on the right track. And in some ways I can improve my game based on different perspectives. So that's the big thing, is just being able to learn at home at midnight when I get done at night and still get the knowledge I need. So for me now, it's definitely been a benefit. I'm more of a student with that than I am with, finding my own stuff, because it's right there for me.
Yeah, and even for me, I jump on and do the other courses as well when I have the time. Like you said, it's convenient. Midnight 1 o'clock in the morning, whenever it is, I can jump on and watch, even if I can't finish the full course right there, watch a bit of it, come back to it the next day. I'm always open to more information. So like selfishly, I'm all about PCU because I get to watch courses from everyone and gain perspective, even if it's doesn't mean that you're on the wrong track because someone does things a little bit different. But it's definitely awesome to see that perspective and be able to be like, hey, I may come across the dog one day where I need to know this stuff and I need to be able to understand how they apply this. So that's kind of, I think it's a great resource for everyone.
And I think that was the main point behind PCU too, was just giving perspectives. Because I mean, like, for the most part, all of us on PCU are pet trainers and we do other things, but it's usually pet trainers first. And and we all have our different styles, our different explanations, how we explain things. Some are simple, some are just more, given more explanation, and it's just cool. And like, even for me, like, it's just, I mean, I've talked to you before, like when we talked about this, and like I've talked to you too, it's like, for me, it's given me, it's like, it's one of the coolest things I think I've done, or we've done in like Primal Canine, or like with PCU, is that kind of open the world of different perspectives and not close it off to where it's like, all right, cool, like this is the only way to do it. It's like constant improvement in knowledge. And the cool thing about PCU is that we can always reshoot things. We can do it live. We can pre-record. We can do tons of different things, and we can continuously put these things out on this platform with a variety of different perspectives from very high qualified trainers, and and throughout the world to see different types of dogs. And it's just I'm pretty pumped on it, especially seeing like all like the courses I've been trying to tune in and watching everybody else's stuff. And when I have insomnia at 3 o'clock in the morning, like just going back in there, I'm like, all right, I have to, like, if I have to watch it while like my girlfriend Erin's sleeping, I'll put on like yours because you're a little bit more quieter than the rest of them. So I'll just I'll be like, all right, let me watch Nezbeth real quick in the corner here. I'm just like,
my voice helps you go to sleep, Mike. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying it. You do got that like almost like Barry White-ish like deep like undertone voice. I'm like, all right, cool. Like it helps me out here. But I mean, I just love the fact that it's like it's so diverse but similar in the sense.
Yeah, definitely, man. That kind of goes back to what we're saying, even like to the decoy stuff. One of the reasons why I push theory, I think pretty heavily compared to like a lot of other decoy instructors, is just because if we understand the theory behind things, then we can apply it to any method that someone's using, right? If we actually just understand the principles of learning, then it doesn't matter what course or what decoy we go, or what sport, or police protection, whatever, that stuff doesn't matter. I mean, we're able to identify how we can utilize the learning theories, operant conditioning, classical conditioning, to get to the goals that we want and what we're looking to achieve. But again, because I'll geek out over like theory stuff doesn't mean everyone's going to geek out over it. So it's about how I'm giving that information or trying to get it to sink in, right? Because I could sit for a day, 24 hours, and just talk about theories and abstract things about dog behavior. But most people that want to put on a bite suit won't really hang out for that conversation, right?
I think that's like one of the biggest things like I've always admired about like yourself, and like have you ever gotten a phone conversation with KD?
Yeah, all the time. I talked to him like last week. We've been on conversations.
No, so that's why I got like when I like talking to you guys, I'm like, dude, I was like, all right, cool. I gotta buckle up, move some appointments. I gotta schedule at least a couple hours out. Like, I know this isn't gonna be alive, because I mean, like, there's not that many people that you can talk to that like will just geek out on like stuff like that, and like it'll be an entertaining conversation. Like something where like you look at the time and you're like, oh fuck, man, I've been on the phone for like an hour and a half. Like, yeah. Like that's something that's like super cool. And, like that's where, I like the fact that we have like Andy Kruger. I talk to him a lot. Jacque, whenever we have the time to link up. I don't really get time to talk to Sean that much, but I mean, like anytime I get a chance to talk to him, like or any one of you guys, it's always like cool, because I'm like, dude, it's like they can like geek out on some like nerdy like bite stuff or dog behavioral stuff or just whatever it is, because it's just there's not that many people in the world that just like find that so interesting and are accepting to different people's like theories and like methods, like however they do it, like that's like the cool part. And that's one of the big reasons why you and KD were one of the first people we started Drinks and Dogs with, because it was just one of those things where we had, I would say, similar but very we vary in just our theories, and like it was just cool to have that conversation and do all that stuff. So I mean, like that was one of the coolest things, and I think still one of my favorite Drinks and Dogs was Drinks and Dogs number 1.
Yeah, that was a good time. Good times.
We had all the technical issues.
Hey, man, it just added character to Drinks and Dogs. We had to work out the little bumps.
All right. So, what are the plans for the rest of 2020? Yeah.
You guys can start.
Go ahead, Jacque.
To survive. No, I mean, right now we're just going to stay on the same course. We are looking for a new location just because we've outgrown this one. We're just kind of stay on the same course, and then also to add on the security side a couple more of the hospital accounts, because it's like we had the one account that has drawn interest from other hospitals. So we're doing test runs there, and so that's kind of been the big side thing for me, is making sure that the dogs are up to par. The actual security teams that are already there understand the reason for the dogs, and we're not trying to conflict with you. It's just trying to add what you already have. So that's been the big thing, and then just like I said, from here, just literally survival. New location, same balance in the sense of the pet dogs and the working dogs, and then extending the Ronin Canine brand, which is the security company.
Hey, I got a question for you, real quick, Jacque. When you guys are using your dogs, like the security dogs, what kind, like how do you guys work them? Like, what kind of fat are you using them for? Like detection, deterrence?
They are dual purpose dogs. So most of it is more deterrent, because like the hospitals that we're at aren't in the best neighborhoods. And there are a few crazies, be it on something or just be it because their homeboy got shot and they got problems with that. So it's more so been a deterrent so far. So we haven't utilized the aspect of scent, but the that's there also. It's more so dual purpose.
Okay, nice.
Have you been to Memphis, Nezbeth?
No, I haven't.
So I'll give you a rundown. I've been here about 5 times, and every single time. Well, the last time I was here, my buddy Mario was here, and I walked up and I slapped him on the butt like, "Hey, good game," and he looked at me like, "Hey, what the?" He's like, "Dude," he's like, "You could have shot me and you." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I got a gun in my back pocket," and I was like, "Why the fuck do you have a gun in your back pocket, dude?" Like, I was like, I
live in Florida, so it sounds pretty similar.
Yeah, I was like, dude, he's like, they don't fight. And then one of the first times we went downtown when we stayed at the Peabody. And then we go out and like someone said, I don't know, someone said something stupid, but like Mario and like what's his name, Justin, were like, "Hey," he's like, "They don't take ass whoopings here, they just shoot people." Basically. And I was like, "Okay, cool. So I'm going back to the hotel bar and then I'm gonna go back up to my room because."
And you went back to the hotel and back to your room for real.
Because my temper does not suit the climate here. Because I don't got a gun, and 2, I have a short temper. Although we did go some nice places. But yeah, that's Memphis. Oh, the
case in point, nice places, and the Snyder shit still happens in nice places.
The best one is what he had. How many dogs in his?
Yeah, Rel had like 10 dogs in a wooden trailer behind his truck from St. Louis,
and they all have live bites.
And yeah, they've all had live bites, presses,
loaded, locked and loaded.
Oh yeah, dude, it's the wild south out here. It's that's why I compare it. I mean, I've only been to Texas like once or twice, but I compare this to like if Texas was a little bit more south, this would be Texas. Minus the tiger.
That's it. But Texas is a country by itself, though, so those still count.
Right.
It's his own country.
The fucking governor has an eye patch.
That's a lot.
That is the goddamn truth.
I didn't even know that myself.
All right, let's get back on track here. What were we talking about?
Side note.
Plans for 2020.
Oh, what's your plans, Nezbeth?
keep things moving here like they're moving. We plan on getting some dogs in eventually. Hope during 2020 sometime. And then we're starting to open back up for the seminar. So like I said, we have that Fright and Bite thing on August 24th. Not August, damn, October 24th. See, 2020 got me messed up.
Yeah.
October 24th. And then I'm heading to Florida. I'm gonna sneak across the border somehow for the week after. I think it's October 27th. I have a seminar down there with Canines United. It's gonna be me, Jay Nix, Carlos, Justin Rigney, Mike Lilly, and Jason Davis. So there's gonna be like, I think there's 60 working teams, and then another 40 audit spots. So like 100, people there. It's at a fort. So this fort in Florida that they have like a mock city in. So we're gonna have access to like the entire city. So that's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that a lot. And Canines United made it like it's free to any canine handler. So the working spots are filled up, but there's I believe it's unlimited audit spots. So like
you should give KD one of those audit spots.
Yeah, I told KD to come. Told him to come through.
KD only.
What about you?
Only Nezbeth and I think KD probably know why the hell I just said.
What's your plans, Mike? What's your plans for 2020?
Just finish strong, man. I mean, we just added Oscar Mora to our team, the PCU team.
Nice.
Plan on getting Jacque in and then just grind it out, man. I'm developing a green dog program right now. I got some puppies that I'm probably bringing in here, but for the most part, I mean, we just got slammed in the pet department. So I'm just gonna focus on that and just continue to grow. With that stuff. I mean, I have outside of Primal Canine, I have a couple different companies that I'm developing at the moment. So it's just like, just normal grind, trying to make the best of what this year's gone. And actually, like, I'm not necessarily happy with the fact of what COVID's done to California, considering our governor's an idiot. And he's pretty much held us back from the rest of the country. But I'm happy with the fact that it gave me time to develop this stuff, right? Like, before COVID, like, we didn't do this stuff, and like I think like the Drinks and Dogs and like PCU has helped just the dog training community in general, just share perspective and like let people know like it's okay to share perspective. It's not right or wrong, it's just perspective. I think like that's one of the coolest things, and I feel like PCU has been one of like the biggest accomplishments for us like in this year in Drinks and Dogs, and just because we've been able to kind of show a united front with a lot of the balance trainers and just dog trainers in general, and just have a good time talking to friends throughout the world. It's like that's been like one of the crowning achievements of this year for me. But I mean, I just want to grow it, make it bigger, make it better, and continue to do it. So that's we have tons of plans on PCU. We just put in tons of ad money into it, so like that's going to grow. So we'll start seeing a bunch of that stuff. So I mean, it's sky's the limit right now. We're just going to keep pushing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, random question: is there like a mass exodus happening in California right now, or is
it's gonna happen? I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. I don't know what the fuck Newsom's doing, but homie shut down everybody, kept his spots open, made a mask deal with China, so like all like the reusable masks, like he has a deal with that. I guess like $5 billion deal. Does all this stuff. Him and his aunt, I think it's his aunt's name, Pelosi or some shit like that. Like they're running around acting like nothing's going on in San Francisco. So yeah, I mean, I already told Aaron if my ex-wife would give me full custody of my daughter, I'd be the fuck out of here. I might even just say, I'm like, Nezbeth, hey, you got room at the ranch because I know you got kids too. We can do some joint distance learning together. I'm a pretty good helicopter dad.
we always got room, man. We always got room. Come on up.
No, I'd be surprised considering after this is all over, like how many people want to actually stay in California? Because California is great as far as weather and like climate or wherever we're at. But I mean, as far as like just the cost of living and what they did to, I mean, when COVID first hit, like just our company alone, you know, we did our meal program. We've done that. We've offered up our facility for kids without Wi-Fi because there's no financial aid. And, you know, people are dying out. Like, you know, no one's being able to eat. You know, the poverty rate's at an all-time low. The unemployment rate at an all-time low. EDD is not giving that extra $600 a week like they're doing for other states in our area. And now that dumbass Newsom just said that he's trying to he's making emission levels so low that there's not going to be, I think like next year, there's not going to be a room for any gas-powered vehicles. What? So now it's going to be electric vehicles in general, because it's like it went from 245 to 2035. No, that's just emissions. 2035 in emissions to 2025 in emissions, which means certain vehicles like diesel, or I don't think it's diesel, or like anything under like a certain age won't be able to pass. So like you can't, and also the sale of new gas-powered vehicles.
Wow.
So yeah. He's like, we're in the front of climate change. It's like, no, you're just the fucking asshole that's trying to make some money because you probably partnered with fucking Elon, because Tesla's in fucking the Bay Area too. So,
wow.
Yeah, California.
Sounds like a good time, man.
Yeah. No, it's it. can't complain too much, but yeah, I don't agree with it. Which is why.
Can't complain too much. You just
what a contradiction! What a contradiction right there.
I didn't complain too much. That was roughly 2.5 minutes of complaining.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
I got the Katie neck vein coming out.
Tell us how you really feel, man.
Oh, you know, if I this shit will get the PCU team will just turn this shit off right now if I start talking.
Shut down.
Turn this down. Mike has lost it. It is over.
Oh man.
Oh my god, let's see if we got anything else in this thing here. What time is it over there, Nezbeth?
10:42.
Let's see. Do you do an apprenticeship program there?
Yeah, we do.
How does yours work out?
So we have a set amount of hours. So we well, there's different levels as well. So we have like the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. It's just a set amount of hours. And then just certain curriculums for each level. So, you know, if it's for like a working dog, you know, we include like a detection course. Pretty much they would run through a full like handler's course with us. The bronze is just like obedience, basic kind of obedience, advanced obedience stuff. But yeah, it's for a set amount of hours. And then at the end of it, you know, it's pretty much like a course, like a class. You know, we give them written assignments. I kind of nerd out a little bit on it, you know. So we get them to write theses. It's actually like quite a bit of work. And to be honest with you, most people don't really make it through or finish the apprenticeship program, but I'm totally okay with that. Like, you know, it's not for everyone. So, you know, I'm okay with having a low graduation rate is all right from my side of things. You know, I want people, it has to be worth something. If everyone can get it, then to me, then it's not that special. But if you have to work for it and earn it, it keeps, you know, value. And, you know, I want people to be proud when they actually do achieve it and get, you know, they finish it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You guys have?
I don't have one right now, just because I feel like I'm so much of a student myself still that I want to get that set up first and then be able to offer later on. So at the time, we really don't have a apprenticeship program.
So mine isn't as so I was taught very differently, like the way my apprenticeship program was. I didn't really get any like thesis or theory or anything like that. I didn't get a lot of written or reading material. Mine was a lot of hands-on. So like a lot of like what I base my own stuff off is like I make sure, like kind of what you said, like a low graduation rate is important to me because I want to make sure that I'm in my opinion, what I'm doing, I'm weeding out the weak people. I really want to see the people who want to get this and want to do like the stuff. So, for me, I want to make sure that they earn the same things that I earned. So a lot of it, like my apprentices, they pick up shit all the time. They're cleaning things, they're fixing
Definitely.
stuff, they're doing this stuff, they're taking bites. And like for me, I put the most pain in front because if they can't feel that pain and deal with it, later, I'm not going to invest 6 to 8 months into you. And then, oh shit, that hurts. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Cause we don't have one style of training. We train everything. So whether you're in it for behavior mod, whether you're in it for, advanced obedience, whether you're in it for sports stuff, whether you're in it for protection training, you're going to do everything. Mm-hmm. And that way I know I'm giving you everything that I have. And, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, unfortunately for my apprentices, I have the biggest tester, which is Aussie. And it's usually like, all right, cool. Here's these training pants. You're going to get a leg bite. Good luck. And then I try to coach them through it. And if they last through that, and I probably 1 out of 10 people will last through that. And those are the people that usually stick. So, the ones that stick are usually the ones that stick around for good. And we've had pretty good success rate with it, but it usually takes a while. I get questions all the time, like, is your apprenticeship a paid apprenticeship? And like for me, at least myself, I feel like it's almost a discredit to the art of dog training to have a paid apprenticeship, because I feel like a lot of us, we pay our dues to get into this world, and we've done a lot of stuff for free to just get into the world. So why would I give that to somebody else when we've already paid our dues and have the knowledge to do these things, right? Yeah. So like, at least on my standpoint. So like for me, like, all right, you're not getting paid, you're getting paid by knowledge, but you're going to be able to do this stuff, and you have X amount of hours to do this, whatever, once or twice a day or once or twice a week or whatever it may be. Yeah.
So for us, man, our I was similar when we first rolled out our apprenticeship program, was that it was like we didn't pay them, and they would come out and learn, and like that's what they got in exchange. But because of like such the high wash rate for the apprentices, it ended up like me and like our team we were dedicating a lot of time to people that were like the percentages were going to wash. So we just started there's a course. It's a trainer's course. If you want bronze, silver, or gold, and they pay to sign up for that course like you would do at any other trade if you're learning a trade. And then you go through the course with us. And if you stay here and rough it through the course, like it's definitely achievable. But it's like any, if we're putting our stamp on it, like we want to make sure that it's earned. It's like you look at, not that by any means we're a Navy SEAL program, but when these guys go to SEAL training, or they're even basic training, like how many people wash out of just that, right? In a military program. And it's like, okay, those people weren't cut for that. Like they're not cut from this cloth. Like you weren't made for this. So it's the same. That's kind of how we look at it, So
100%. And you bring up a good point. So a lot of times people think dog training is like, oh, look we're playing with dogs. It's like the most common thing. Like at least you get to play with dogs all day and puppies. And like inside of my, like obviously I already numbed that part out years ago. But when I first started hearing that, it would be like this, like almost like take it, like it would like infuriate me. I'm like, I'm playing with fucking dogs.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious right now? do you understand what this is like? Like to do this stuff like that? So let's break down dog training. Dog training, like I'll start off, dog training for me is more based on people training, but it's also based on the repetition, the reps and the time you put in with multiple and varieties of different dogs. So that's how you learn, all this different stuff, because you have to see, you can't just read and watch and all this stuff. You have to hands-on experience, and you're putting in the reps, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the years. It's not something that's done in a short amount of time to be a good dog trainer. It's done over an expended amount of time, or at least an expended amount of opportunities to work with dogs and do all this stuff. So when people say like, oh yeah, you're a dog trainer, you do like, I can't even tell you like how many times people are surprised that like, we have what we have because we're dog trainers. Like people say, well, you're dog trainers? Like what the fuck? Like you're a dog trainer, you do like, you got all this stuff. Like, yeah,
It's almost
motherfucker.
like condescending, almost.
Yeah, it's like
garbage man.
yeah, it's like, yeah, motherfucker, like this shit's fucking like the dog training, because dog training isn't just dog training. Dog training is, and you see it on our Yelp reviews, like, people will be like, I feel like it was like couples counseling, or like, it's more than that, because even in dog training, you have a variety of different training aspects that you're training. You can do basic obedience, behavioral issues, you can do sports stuff, variety of sports. I mean, like, that list is long, and then you can go into protection stuff. I mean, there's so many different things. So I think like the misunderstanding of what dog training really is a huge thing, especially to the general public, because they don't really understand what dog training really is. So I mean, like, for me, dog training is mostly people training, and dogs are secondary, but having the reps and understanding behind it is the most important thing when it comes to being a credible dog trainer. But I mean, what's your perspectives on like dog training?
I mean, for one, it's just about creating the understanding that a person and a dog are two different creatures. And then you have to bridge that gap. And people don't have the patience to bridge that gap, because we pretty much want to humanize everything that we see. So that's the first thing, just kind of creating that idea that, okay, this is a dog. It won't think like you, won't act like you. And how can you not dumb yourself down, but become more understanding of what they are, to then effectively get through to them. Then after that is then teaching the person and having them to be comfortable with you. So it's teaching them how to deal with their dog, but it's also personal development. Yeah. How to deal with this person, be it a doctor, a lawyer, a rapper, the person that's in South Memphis. In this case, South Memphis ain't the best place. Super educated, uneducated, and then like being able to get through to them, plus train a dog. So it's definitely, like you said, like your Dr. Phil, your dog training, your problem solving, and all that in one.
Yeah.
And so it goes far beyond just looking at a dog and saying, "Hey, you sit."
Yeah. Definitely, man. I again, like, I agree with both of you guys, man. I think that, training a dog is one thing, and I'm like, all you guys probably know, like, some really, really great dog trainers that are great dog trainers for their dog specifically, but they can't, and hands down can train dog, like, their dog better than I can train a dog. But they can't transfer that information to someone else's dog and to that other person with their dog, right? So training the dog is one thing, then having the ability to effectively communicate what needs to be done beyond there, and to those, the owners or the handlers, and let them be able, like, that's when it's successful. I see a lot of times, on like online forums, like, some trainers will like rant like, oh, this client is dumb, they don't listen to me, or they won't follow. Like, even sometimes, like, I'll catch, like, our newer trainers start like kind of going down that road, and like, I'll stop them and be like, it's not the client, like, that's your fault. If they're not understanding it, you can't blame, they're not dog trainers, they're not supposed to understand it. And if they're not getting it, like, that's you're not effectively communicating with them and helping them understand it in a way that they will, right? So yeah, but like, that's the only thing that I would add on to that.
I think, like, you brought up an amazing point in that aspect of it too, is that, we're problem solvers. So, the biggest thing with solving a problem is by learning how to communicate to that person, and the best way to make sure that they can solve that problem. And not every single person is going to be adaptable to how you speak every single time. That's the whole point of not being cookie cutter, right? So you have to be able to communicate to that individual in that individualistic way, but the best way for them to learn on an individual level, so they can communicate to their animal, right? So like, that's one of the biggest things I've seen, like, with dog trainers, is everyone's like, no, this is how it's done, you can't do it, fuck off, like, this is what it's going to be, it's your problem, not mine. But in return, it's your problem. Like, you're the one that they come to for help, so you have to be the one that, dumbs down the ego, just like slows it down, and just talks, like, just kind of just goes through the flow and just talks to them like, all right, cool, like, this is how you go, this, and learn. Because, obviously dogs all learn on their own speed and their own different levels and own different styles and own different ways. And so do people. Some people learn by being more physically active. Some people learn by being more, talked to, or reading, or whatever it means they may be, or they may need. But for the most part, it's adapting. And then, not even to break down, even like, being a dog trainer, but owning a business as a dog trainer. And being a business owner as a dog trainer, like, that's a whole different fucking ballgame. Like, that's something that most people don't know, is that, like, you know, as a dog trainer, we're really good at training dogs, helping with people, but the business aspect, I mean, you're not even just dealing with dog training anymore. Like a lot of times, like when I first got into the industry, when I first like went public into the industry, like at that time they're like, oh, like if you use marketing, you're not a good dog trainer, you're just using fancy marketing or blah 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 blah, you know, whatever fucking people use to make excuses for it. But like, you know, as I do, is like, this is the world we live in, you got to adapt to it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how good. Oh, Nezbeth switched up drinks. We got second drink on the list here.
Ginger beer, alcoholic.
Oh no. But I mean, like that's the thing too, is that you can be the greatest dog trainer in the world, but nowadays you have to utilize all aspects of business. And if you're the greatest dog trainer in the world, but no one sees you, you're the greatest dog trainer in the world and no one knows.
Yeah.
And like now, like obviously you have a family, Jacque, you have a wife, you know, you're in a family, I have a family, and like, you know, like we have to provide for our family. So like there's levels that comes into like, you know, what we do, you know, and as far as like being a business owner, that's very, very important.
Yeah, and so, like I'm super, like my wife helps me out with like all the marketing and like I know where my strengths and my weaknesses are, right? And like she's kind of leads the charge on the business end, on the marketing, on the following up with emails, and like that's not my strong point. So like luckily she's like, you know, it helps a lot that she stays on top of schedule, everything for me. But yeah, like, you know, I remember when people would like trash trainers for like putting a video online and like, oh, like why are you putting a video on there? Oh, look at the fancy, like, and to me, it's like hilarious. Like you can go back in history. Like I've always put videos online. And it's not just for marketing, right? Like it's also for other trainers, like, you know, for you guys, like people like you guys to see it. Hey, Mike, you know, why'd you do this? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It didn't. And then you're like, hey, you know, you should try and maybe do this next time. Or like I use it as opportunities, you know, to also receive critiques. Like I welcome critiques. I'm not married to, you know, the things that I do. You know, I want to be better with them. So you know, I'm open to critiques all the time. Now, if you critique me and I don't agree with you, I'll say I don't agree with you. It doesn't ever have to be like personal. The other like fallacy in the dog training world is like people try to put, oh, if you make money from training dogs, somehow that's not genuine, or you there's no integrity in what you're doing. And like to me, that's the dumbest thing I've ever, like, you wouldn't say that to any other profession. Like, yeah,
like how does that make, like that would be like one of the craziest things for me. I'm like, because I mean, like dog training, like I don't care what anyone says, like that's years of, there's no school for dog training. I mean, there's schools, but they're fucking horrible. But like, you know, like there's no actual school, there's no academic thing for it. Like you literally have to put yourself on the line to learn how to do these things.
Trial, error, and improvement.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's how it really is.
I mean, it's just like it's insane to me, like that some people would say that, because I mean, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other industries and a lot of other, you know, ways of going as far as making a living, but as far as being a dog trainer, it's unforgiving, you know, and it's something that there's no clear-cut way of doing it the right way. I mean, we've seen the franchises, we've seen, you know, those programs, and we know how well those dogs are trained, or not well those dogs are trained, you know. And then we see, like, you know, people like, you know, within PCU, the circle that we have, you know, the hours, the years, the time they put into it, and we see how well those dogs are trained. I mean, it's insane to me that people would, in any form or mean, would demean, you know, the art, or, you know, just what we do, our profession, you know, like, and the fact to say like, hey, don't market it, because if you market it, you're not real. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, are you fucking serious? Like, shut the fuck. I give up over that shit some other time. I'm gonna post a video next week and we're like, fancy marketing, motherfuckers. Like,
there's the same people saying don't market it were like paying for newspaper ads back in the 70s for their dog training things, right? You know? Just, okay, whatever, man, have at it.
That's what my one of my old mentors used to say is like, he's like, I never post videos of and this is one of our big follow-ups. He's like, I never post videos of my protection work. I was like, well, why? I was like, why? He's like, you know, I just don't post that stuff. I was like, okay. But then he posts pictures of like him, like a picture of his track at like 6 a.m. I'm like, well, that's a really boring ass picture. So I'm gonna kind of like it, like, but I don't, just out of courtesy.
The half alike.
Yeah, you don't get the love emoji. Dude. All right. So, Mike, you have a seminar coming up?
Yeah, the Canines United one in Florida is the next seminar. End of October. It's posted on Canines United Instagram and Facebook page. The ad's up there. I believe it's the 27th, around that time, before Halloween. All the information's up there. It's free to law enforcement. All the working spots are they're spoken for, but I believe again there's unlimited audit spots. So if you can get out there, it's free. They're even provide free housing for the law enforcement on the base. So it's going to be a pretty big seminar. A lot of good instructors. I'm super pumped to be instructing along the guys that I'm instructing along. And I'm going to try and get as much info from them as I can for myself too. So
can I get an invite one of these times? Just like, hey, Mike, can like want to fly to Florida?
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just like
we'll talk offline. We'll talk offline.
Yeah. Dude. Shit. So Jacque, I mean, your wife is in education, right?
Social work.
Social work. So I know your daughter or your kids are in like distance learning.
Yeah.
How much, I don't know what you guys are dealing with, but how much of a clusterfuck is that?
Yeah, they actually helped us a bit, man. Like they slowly kind of introduced them to it. So like it was her first week this week. So like Monday she only had to do it for like 2 hours, and she has like an actual like virtual like teacher there now. Then the next day they added another hour until like the end of the week. So tomorrow will be, or no, today was her like first full day of like school. It's been an experience, a learning experience. But to be honest with you, it hasn't been that bad. So, but we're only like 1 week in, so
Dude, fucking Canada, man. Fucking Canada. Like, Canada has to make everything just like so much better than
so easy.
So much like so for everybody here watching this, I would put my fucking drink down here. I have a 6-year-old daughter. My 6-year-old daughter just started first year first grade. My little kid has to open her laptop. We have to start the motherfucker up. She starts at 9 a.m. and she has to stay on with a bunch of other little motherfuckers on this thing, like little 6-year-olds, just rambling around with one teacher who's not even there. My daughter's sitting there just looking at this fucking computer screen, doing her whiteboard stuff, talking everything. Thankfully, my daughter's smart. I don't know where the fuck she got that from. It definitely wasn't for me. Definitely not from her mom. So like I don't know where the fuck she got this from, but like she was like 3 hours, and then there's a gap for an hour, and then she has another 3 hours. And I'm like, dude, it's like, how in the fuck do you expect these like kids at 6 years old to be attentive for a full day schedule? And it wasn't like they didn't get that slow introduction like they got. They were like, guess what, motherfuckers?
Here you go.
Time. And then they expect people to like.
She gets 15 recesses, lunch breaks, all of that. So she's good, man.
Dude, I was like, I had my buddy is a principal at her school, and I actually texted him like the first day that I got to witness it, and I was like, dude, what in the motherfuck are you guys doing? Like this is first grade. Like, I'm a fucking 36-year-old man, and there's no way in fuck I could do that.
It's like I said with the decoy courses. They need to figure them out like that, right? They need to just a quick little 15 minutes of learning, and then like, all right, go be free, and then back to that. Decoy's got the same attention span. Decoy's got the same attention span as 6-year-olds, man.
I'm telling you, I the first day I watched her, I was like, this motherfucker's smarter than me. Like, how the fuck? Fucking 6 years old playing on the fucking computer. I was like, at that time, I don't think I touched the computer until I was like 11, and I was playing fucking Oregon Trail, and I pretty much died of dysentery every fucking time, or something. When the fucking screen was black and green all the time. Like, I was like, how does it make sense? It's a special type of child.
Yeah, I was probably eating rocks and like drinking from a hose pipe outside when I was 6 years old. Not figuring out stuff.
I was getting running around East Side San Jose, getting chased by little pit bulls or fucking chihuahuas. That's trying to make them my friends. Like, let's go. I'm like, no, they're just trying to murder me because I'm fast prey.
Oh, kill me.
Oh yeah, this is the good stuff, guys. This is the good stuff. This is what happens when Mike doesn't sleep since 3 o'clock in the morning and works dogs and then starts drinking these copper can things.
Yeah, what is that? That's what it's called, copper can?
Copper can Moscow mules. This is like my favorite shit.
Looks
I was
aggressive.
supposed to try one, but guess we drank them all up.
Hi.
There's always a little bit left in that one.
Right,
Yeah.
barely. Okay, thank you.
This is how close we are, guys. Fuck over.
That's not social distancing, guys.
Oh no, there's no rules in the United States. Every state has their own fucking rules. It's like,
I know. I have no quarantine when I come down to Florida, but I got a quarantine when I get back home.
dude, it's like there's literally every state has their own rules down here.
Yeah.
So you talked about importing dogs. How big of a pain in the ass has that been for you guys?
Yeah, so we could do, like, I know a few people that have done it. It's doable still. Like, we can still get them shipped in. The issue is that I just, like, you have to buy them sight unseen. Like, and I don't want to buy them sight unseen, you know? But like,
You typically fly out?
Generally, like, that's what I prefer to do. I got the short end of the stick the last couple times that I haven't gone out and got the dogs. So, you know, I kind of made the deal to myself before COVID happened that I'm not doing it anymore. Like, I'm not buying it sight unseen. And then COVID happened. So I gotta keep my promise to myself.
That's been one of the biggest gambles I've dealt with. I mean, I've been lucky enough to have a vendor who's pretty honest with me.
Yeah, man.
And always telling me, like, pretty much straight up, and I know his training style, I know what he likes, so I know, like, what I would like. So at least I have that. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. But I think, like, the biggest plan for us next is kind of developing our own puppy program.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the first, we started off with the original breeding we did with Ozzy and Gila. And I don't know if you saw my dog Zilla or, like, Sid or any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, those dogs came out pretty nice, and Ozzy seems to be a pretty solid producer. And I was taking bites from Ozzy, and had a young dog, and you know, I think the next, and that's what we're gonna start doing with Set, the next dog we have in. But I mean, like, that's essentially, I think, where I'm gonna go, or I'm gonna do puppies for my vendor. But I mean, I think, like, the hardest part is finding green dogs, and you know, having to wash $6,000 or $4,000 versus washing $1,500, or, you know, $2,000, you know, with puppies, or just, you know, spending the time to develop them. So I think I've restructured our program just a bit, just because of COVID actually helped me do that, just because of obviously not being able to go and test out what we need to do, which is, you'll be involved in that too.
For me, man.
Well, you've been in, and so for everyone that doesn't know, like, Jacque's been in, you know, you've been in what, breeding with Boer Bull? You started in Boer Bulls?
No, it was Akitas first, and then I've had a few Rotties, and then went to Boer Bulls. Now I'm back to Rotties again.
And working Akitas.
Yeah, and that was back in the 90s when they weren't working dogs. They were all pretty show dogs.
Shit, they're still not working.
You're back into Rotties now, breeding Rotties?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a love of mine. Akitas can be a little bit too independent for the average person.
Yeah.
And so, like, we had a market, but then, like, when dogs started getting soft, people started getting soft suits. They couldn't handle them. So the Rotties are a little bit more versatile. That's kind of where we're at now, like the more German lines and Serbian line Rotties.
Okay.
Do you see we fucking, I know we've talked about this offline before, but that dog Samson,
yeah,
dude, his fucking odor work
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos, man. I've seen.
Dude, like his indication is shit, but I mean, like he indicate like he's on it, like no matter where he's at. And I've worked him, and like we put him into like literally off of work right into scent, and he goes right to it. I mean, like he gets a solid 2 to 3 fines, like nothing like a herder or anything like that. But shit, man, that dog surprised the fuck out of me.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. I've been watching some of the videos that are posted of him, man. He definitely got it figured out.
He's like, I'm just gonna look for this thing, and we're good from there. But his grips improved as well. My forearm can attest to that. I mistakenly decided to put on a really thin ass hidden sleeve with no gauntlet, and the giant dog decided to hurt my arm. Which I can't blame him.
There you go. There's a nice
decision or your decision, though.
My decision.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're gonna go with next or one question before we wrap this up. Gauntlet, no gauntlet.
I use a gauntlet, man. I use a neoprene gauntlet though. I've had some run-ins with like blood clots and stuff in my legs from bite pressure and scar tissue and all that building up. So I'm too old to just try and tough things out now for the sake of toughing it out. But depending on generally I'll wear a gauntlet, especially if I'm like doing a seminar back to back with a bunch of dogs. I'll wear a gauntlet.
I won't even say I'm getting too old. I'll say I'm getting smarter. So I stick to gauntlets myself, especially now that Ray Allen and Mike created the leather gauntlet. It definitely help with dogs as far as grip because they have to actually work to keep their grip, but also keep me safe too. So not quite getting older, just getting smarter. So I definitely use a gauntlet.
There you go. I need to get my hand on that leather gauntlet for sure.
They haven't sent you that shit yet?
No, I haven't got it yet, man.
It's a lifesaver, man.
Matt Wilson. You need to step your motherfucking game up.
Get it together, man. Get it together.
Get it to fucking together. Jesus Christ. Hooking you up with the best trainers in the goddamn world. You can't send these motherfuckers goddamn gauntlets.
Gotta love Mike.
It's fucking
or hate him, whichever one.
No, I mean, I think like that's one of the most important things that you got to think about longevity and also being able to think about how you're marking certain things. I talked about this to the decoys that are literally in the other room right now. When you wear a tiny suit, everything hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you wear a comp suit, semi-comp suit, everything hurts if you don't wear a gauntlet. So you could be marking bad behavior, not necessarily, and I'm not even talking about the self-care part of it, like blood clots, bruising, muscle damage, things like nerve issues. I'm talking about rewarding bad behavior in a dog, like just ripping away from you and not countering and digging using their full mouth, because shit's gonna hurt. You're gonna make noises. You're gonna excrete certain pheromones. You're gonna have a certain presence. You're gonna break down differently, and that's where gauntlets come into play. You got to use the gauntlets to, one, protect yourself, make sure you have the the proper responses, understanding what's going on, and you're safe. Because it's longevity in the aspect of that you need to be able to work more, and especially if you're going to like a spot like you're going to, or like how I usually come to Memphis and it's 40 dogs or something like that. Like if I'm working no gauntlet and just trying to be tough about it, like I'm 36, like shit's fucking added up. My shoulder's been disconnected way too many times. But I mean, you have to be able to work smarter and work harder at the same time. And gauntlets for me that's the key, and that's why we've developed the Primal Canine armor with Ray Allen, and we have some other stuff up our sleeves here coming up pretty soon. But I mean, that's I feel like that's the most important thing for most young decoys to understand is you don't gotta the younger years you're all filled up and just, I can't even say testosterone up, but you're all up in all up in fucking hype about it, and you'll soon feel that adrenaline drop, and when you have to start hobbling home and you're like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this tomorrow, but you got to do it tomorrow. You're gonna start rethinking shit differently.
Yeah, definitely. No, like if you're in too much pain, like you're not, as a decoy, you're not thinking straight, right? So you can't do what you need to do and you can't provide the feedback that dog needs to be provided. So gauntlets all the way. You know, when I get my Primal Canine armor gauntlet, you know, I'll give you guys my feedback on it. But since I don't have one, you know, I can't give you any accurate feedback right now.
Matt Wilson. This is your problem. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get some from him and then I'm gonna just send them to you.
There we go. Problem solved.
There you go. I'll just send.
You get a gauntlet. You get a gauntlet. Everybody gets a fucking gauntlet.
That's what I had to do, man. Fucking like I was like I had to send. I'm over here like with no leg gauntlets and I have like comp pants, and I was fucking because I sent my leg gauntlets to James Guillory because he had like these dogs out in Florida. They were just like dudes, like these dogs are fucking up my legs, and like dude, even like those gauntlets didn't work out. Like James didn't have to say anything about it, but like they helped him a little bit, but they didn't help him that much. But James also has those fucking Stone Grove bullies that are just fucking monsters.
Yeah.
I already told I told the guy from Stone Grove, I was like, when you do another litter, just save me a male. I was like, I've worked your washes and like, I'm like, I'm a pity guy, so I'm like, I need that. I need one of those, just one, you know, that hangs out of the house, is chill, and that they can still do those digging, pushing grips.
Yeah.
Let's see if we got any questions. If not, we're gonna wrap this motherfucker up because it is late and we've been doing this for way too long. Screwdrivers help. What? Let's see. Hey, Mike, what advice would you give a young kid like me who is interested in protection work but doesn't know how to get involved? All right, so this is a good question. So this is a young guy or young kid who's interested in protection work but doesn't know how to get involved. What would be your guys' advice?
You can go first, man.
With me, honestly, I say start with the fundamentals, and to me, that is kind of creating that control and the obedience. To be honest, because again, you have to have that control before you can fire your weapon. So that's kind of the first thing, and then from there, it's just finding a good mentor who can guide you through the process. Because even if you have a dog that isn't great at it, you need to find a dog that's going to be good for you. So finding a good mentor that kind of gives you that feedback as to what you need to do. Finding a new dog, using the current dog, and then once you get the dog that's right for you, how to build that dog from point A to point B. So I would start from, you know, that point, obedience first, right dog second, and then finding a mentor that can kind of guide you through the steps from 0 to 10 of how to build that dog, and then applying that to other dogs, and then using that mentor to help you problem solve with each dog.
Yeah, I think definitely, like, you know, the best thing would be to get out to some, you know, even protection sport clubs, you know, meet some people. Finding a mentor would be the best bet, depending on where your location is. That can be hard. You know, this is not kind of like a shameless plug, but, you know, we have the internet nowadays. The problem with the internet is there's a lot of stuff that's not, you know, not the best kind of things or information you want to follow, but there's this great place called PCU that has there's a lot of courses up there from like leaders in the industry. So, you know, that's kind of where I would head to if I couldn't, even if I had a mentor or, you know, just availability to like information that's, you know, going to be helpful and going to be useful to what you need to know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everything that you guys said is exactly what I would say. I mean, find a mentor, you know, obviously, like we've talked about, but like multiple times during this one is like, you know, PCU is one of those things that I feel like it's invaluable in the aspect of like most people don't really understand how much value comes to or what's coming from that, you know? I mean, like there's so many, I mean, you know, Nezbeth, we have fucking Andy Kruger, we have Sean, we have Nina, we have, you know, Oscar's now on there. I mean, we have so much knowledge out there. You know, it's just insane. So, I mean, like, if you can't find a mentor nearby, you know, or research a club nearby that you like, or a style you like, and find the mentor that's in that style nearby, PCU is the best, honestly, the best opportunity for most people. And it's not because it's our stuff. It's just because that's the reality of the situation. And, you know, that's where I would say, like, if you're young and want trying to get involved, check that out. But also find something that you're really interested in, find a club near you or a trainer near you and put your work in and go from there.
Definitely.
Like, even like practicing your movements without even having a dog. So I mean, like you can watch the PCU stuff, but then practice those movements in the mirror. It sounds goofy as hell. Like no dog involved, but practice those movements so that you can then, when you get that chance, apply it to it and then see how well it sticks.
Yep.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right. Well, we started this one a little bit late, so I'm gonna wrap this thing up. So first, let me go through here, make sure they're plugging everything we need to plug. So first of all, make sure you guys check out Nezbeth's page. Check out his online courses. Check out the Fright Bite Night course. I wish I can go to that thing because that sounds awesome. Fright Bite Night trial thing that he's doing over there. Also check out his course or his seminar going out in Florida. Jacque, Boney, Allegiance Canine. We're doing our actual Art of War working dog weekend this weekend, so prepare for a lot of videos coming from that. Also check out Jacque in general when it comes to any of the training stuff that we're doing if you're in the Memphis area. Canada, Nezbeth's got that on lock. Shout out to Amerta for this awesome shirt. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in for Drinks and Dogs. Much appreciated for all you guys showing up. Look at the numbers. We're at 701. Can't wait to keep growing this thing. Check out all the courses that we have going on. And remember, any course that we've done before, Nezbeth's, mine, anyone else, you can always go back and get those. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Nezbeth. Obviously, the Jocks were with me. And I'll see you guys in the green room after this. But thanks, everybody else.
All right, man. Thank you.